on the corner of 25 West Main Street in downtown Vermilion. The Spa at Winnie Mae's is proud to support programming on Coyote News. The Spa at Winnie Mae's, providing salon and spa services for men, women, and children.
Coming up on Coyote News, there was a battle of badges between the Vermilion Fire and Police departments.
Also, a discussion about the general activity fee prompted the longest SGA meeting in history. Coyote News starts right now.
Live from the Al Newharth Media Center, this is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Nick Nelson.
And I'm Celeste LeCourciere. We'll get to those stories and more, but first.
President Donald Trump has appointed Neil Gorsuch to serve on the U.S. Supreme Court. Gorsuch will replace the late Justice Antonin Scalia. Gorsuch is currently serving on the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals in Denver. If confirmed in the Senate, the Supreme Court will continue to be made up exclusively of Ivy League graduates. Acting Secretary of the Army Robert Speer is directing the Army Corps of Engineers to proceed with the completion of the Dakota Access Pipeline. This allows for a remaining section under the North Dakota's Lake Oahe to be completed despite massive protests. A measure that would have restricted which locker rooms South Dakota transgender students can use has been withdrawn by the bill's sponsor. The proposal is similar to the one Governor Dugard vetoed last year, and he says he would have rejected this bill if it reached the desk. A similar ballot measure may be presented to voters in 2018. And those are your headlines. Now let's take a look at the weather with Lauren Solek. Lauren?
After a few days of melting snow, the cold is back and it looks like it'll stick around until the weekend. Currently, it's 23 degrees. Tonight, the temps are going to drop down to 9 degrees with the wind blowing 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow will be mostly cloudy with a high near 22 with a nightly low around 12. Some snow may return tomorrow night and into Friday. Friday will be slightly warmer with a high of 25. The nightly low will be around 16. For your weekend, Saturday will be the warmest of the week with a high of 36. The warmer temps will continue through the weekend with a high of 36 on Sunday. It won't be warm enough to get outside and play catch during the big game, but it looks like we might reach the low 40s early next week, and that's your Coyote weather.
Former USD Professor Emeritus Donald Ray Abraham died Saturday, January 28th, while visiting family in Norman, Oklahoma. Dr. Abraham retired from USD in 1997 after 17 years as a professor and chair of the physics department. A memorial service will be held Saturday morning at 10:30 at the Brule Creek Lutheran Church of Elk Point. Visitation is set for 1 hour before the service.
Some students are concerned about the executive order signed by President Donald Trump, placing a ban on entry into the U.S. from 7 countries. USD community members may be directly affected by Friday's ban. President Jim Abbott sent an email reassuring students of the university's commitment to inclusiveness and diversity. The international office also reached out to international students, advising them not to travel out of the country until the order is clarified or rescinded. A panel of 3 immigration lawyers will take place tomorrow at 3 in the Muck Pit Lounge to offer students the opportunity to discuss questions, concerns, or anything regarding the pending order. The discussion is open to the public. Coming up, the Vermilion Police and Fire Departments competed for a good cause. Find out more after the break.
Climbing's awesome because it's challenging, both mentally and physically.
You gotta love climbing because even when you're not climbing, you get a great view.
Climbing's great because I feel like Spider-Man.
Climbing is great, because even my nerd friends can do it.
Climbing's awesome because there's always someone who has your back.
Come to the rock wall and figure out why climbing's awesome for you.
USD's Media and Journalism Department can be seen and heard all over campus. Faculty members know that hands-on experience now is the key to success after college. Get professional experience by participating in one of the many practicums offered. Have your voice heard on the radio. Edit a promo for a campus organization. Investigate breaking news stories for a weekly newspaper. Design advertisements for local businesses. Get involved with the Media and Journalism Department at USD and start your future now.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. The room was heated at last night's SGA meeting. The general activity fee, or GAF allocation, was supposed to be finalized, but instead a 3-hour discussion took place. Athletic Director David Herbster and Dean of Students Kim Grieve let the SGA senators know where the athletic department's GAF requested money will go. Herbster and Grieve tried to quell the concerns of the senators and SGA visitors. SGA Vice President Michelle Novak says the Senate's opinion doesn't even factor into the final decision.
It doesn't matter if we vote yes or no. It goes on to the executive committee and President Abbott, and they decide if it's yes or no.
Students in attendance disagreed on the importance of the expenses. Swimmer Kathleen Jeffers says she understands it's difficult to prioritize all the campus organizations.
I do want to advocate for what I deeply care about, which is the swimming program here at USD, and I do feel that we are very similar to all the organizations on campus that feel neglected and not prioritized.
The Senate's final decision will be made at next week's SGA meeting.
Most students are probably familiar with Starfish, the early alert and appointment system for USD. The university is moving in a new direction, implementing a new alert system called Coyote Connections. The new system aims to improve communication between faculty, academic advisors, and students. It'll also provide advisors with statistical analysis to help students with their college experience. Students will be contacted through email with instructions on how to use the new system.
More than 100 community members came out last week to give blood. But as the Yote Report's Nathan Finster shows you, there's a twist. A battle between blue and red.
A pair of red and white blood donation buses parked outside the Sanford Care Center in Vermilion last Monday for the annual Heroes Behind the Badge blood drive. Law enforcement, EMS personnel, firefighters, and community members alike lined up to participate.
I'm an EMT as well, and so I don't like needles.
Robin Hauer may be an EMT, but his primary job is a detective for the Vermilion Police Department. He's up against his fellow first responders with fire and EMS.
We were approached by the community blood bank, at which time they asked us if we wanted to do the Heroes Behind the Badge blood drive, which is a friendly competition between law enforcement and fire and EMS. And of course, we agreed.
That was 11 years ago.
The Vermilion Fire EMS Department and the Police Department come together once a year to create this friendly competition as a way to give back to the community and to save lives.
Okay. Go ahead and fill out a ballot over here then, Sonia.
They collected 94 units of blood, just shy of their 100-unit goal.
You know, in reality, it doesn't matter who wins because it's really the community that wins. The 94 units of blood that we collected, that saved 282 lives.
So, who won?
Fire and EMS won this year. It was a very close competition.
Next year, they hope to hit their goal of 100 units. However, Hauer has a goal of his own.
Watch out, fire department, we're coming to get you.
For the Yote Report, I'm Nathan Finster.
If you weren't able to make it, there's going to be a blood drive next Wednesday and Thursday at the Muck. While it may not help the battle between the first responders, officials say one donation of blood can save up to 3 lives.
Finding a parking spot might just get a little easier for students at USD. The parking committee decided to convert the Al Newharth visitor lot into a lot for students and staff with an A parking permit. The decision was made due to surrounding lots always being at capacity and the visitor lot rarely being used. As of now, traditional parking procedures, such as ticketing, are still in full effect. If you're unsure where to park, you can find a detailed map on USD's website. Still to come, Vermilion's movie theater gets an upgrade. We'll take a look inside when we come back.
I wanted to be a student ambassador because I wanted to be able to give prospective students my view of the campus and so that they can enjoy the university as much as I do.
It's bringing the next generation to USD.
It was a real personal experience more than just, hey, here's a big university.
You're coming into a family, and we want you to feel welcome, we want you to feel loved, and we want you to feel confident in your decision to become a Coyote.
It's fulfilling,
energetic,
impactful,
community,
challenging, knowledgeable,
fun,
professional,
the future.
I just love USD.
Fostering is when you take in an animal into your home and you take care of them until we can find them a permanent forever home.
If you can find it in your heart to do it, it's rewarding.
We do all the vetting, the neutering, the spaying, the medications.
The Humane Society has lots and lots of great dogs and cats that can pull at your heartstrings and make you realize you got a little more to give.
This is Coyote News.
Welcome back. The Vermilion Literary Project had an event at the Varsity Pub in downtown Vermilion Thursday night. People who came to the event listened to poetry composed by USD students and faculty. All ages were welcome, and attendees even had the chance to take the mic themselves in an open mic session.
Well, one of the things the VLP does during the school year is to host a lit trash night here at the Varsity Pub.
At one point, our teacher approaches us.
The lit trash nights feature readers, writing activities, and poetry slams. The VLP is USD's only literary student group and has been around since the 70s. After generous donations and 4 months of renovation, the Coyote Twin is ready for the community to enjoy.
This past fall, the Vermilion Downtown Cultural Association was busy renovating one of the theaters in the Coyote Twin.
The renovations couldn't have gone forward without the explicit involvement of USD and the community as a whole.
The VDCA received about $200,000 in donations for the renovation.
The name of this theater is Red Steakhouse Auditorium, and that is because of a large donation from Jared and Peggy Higman, owner of Red Steakhouse and Masaba, and we couldn't do this without them. What they did for the community was tremendous.
The newly renovated theater can seat over 100 people. All the chairs have cup holders and are able to recline.
Just down this hallway is Theater 2, which was built in the 90s. Even though it's fairly new, there are plans in progress to renovate it.
USD students receive a reduced admission rate and can even get into some special events for free. For Coyote News, I'm Heather Egbert.
USD is making an effort to slow the spread of sexually transmitted diseases by adding condom dispensers throughout campus. Coyote News' Devin Martin is live in the muck with Associate Dean of Students John Howe to talk about where these will be located and how they'll benefit students. Devin?
Thanks, Nick. USD Housing, Sanford Health, and the Student Health Advisory Board have been working together to provide condom dispensers and sex education here at USD. I am joined by John Howe, Associate Dean of Students, to ask him some questions. John, thank you for joining me today.
No problem.
So, John, where will the location be of the condom dispensers, and when will they be implemented on campus?
They'll be located in the North Complex, so our BD Mickelson, Richardson, and Olson, as well as our Burgess and Norton halls. We are working to get the informational packets combined, so hopefully by the end of the month, they should be up and ready to go.
Okay. And why is there a need for condom dispensers now?
Well, it came out of a conversation with the Student Health Advisory Board as well as Stanford Health. They talked to our university housing department and realized that there were a higher prevalence of sexually transmitted diseases as well as STIs, STDs within the state of South Dakota in this past year. So largely this is just a way to combat the rising, particularly chlamydia and gonorrhea that's going around the state at this time. So really just prevention, making sure students can make some wise and informed choices.
Okay. And last question, have you heard any reactions from students or parents on anything they had to say about the condom dispensers?
Not yet. I think perhaps once they go up, then maybe that will cause some conversations to continue. We've had some media on this issue, but not terribly much yet. So maybe when they're installed, we'll have some feedback. But so far, it's been positive.
Okay. And thank you very much for your time.
No problem.
The condom dispensers will be implemented on campus very soon. Live in the muck, I'm Devin Martin.
Thanks, Devin. In this week's blog, Coyote Crystal discussed this weekend's Super Bowl with the students.
I hate to bother you during your wonderful homework session right now. Actually, you were texting. You weren't even doing homework. Busted. Are you going to be watching the Super Bowl this weekend? I probably won't. What do you think you're going to do instead of watch the Super Bowl?
I don't know, but I'm not a football person.
So what's your favorite Super Bowl food?
Ooh, wings, probably.
Do you know who's playing in the Super Bowl?
The Patriots.
Is that who you're rooting for?
Anybody but Tom Brady.
Are you watching the Super Bowl this weekend? I didn't know it was this weekend. Gold. Excuse me? Oh, I'm so sorry. Who are you cheering for this year?
I'll go with the Falcons.
Are you Super Bowl or commercial?
Commercial.
Who are you cheering for?
Falcons.
You sure?
Yes.
How positive?
100%.
Would you bet $1 million on them?
No.
Okay. Are you a Super Bowl person or a commercial person?
I'm a Super Bowl person.
Can you tell me who's playing in the Super Bowl?
Yes, the Falcons and the Patriots.
Are you Super Bowl or commercial?
Commercial.
Can you tell me what's your favorite Super Bowl food?
Chicken wings.
What kind of wings?
Just buffalo.
Okay. Are you Super Bowl or commercials?
Commercials.
What's your favorite commercial?
Doritos ones.
Which one?
I don't know. There's a bunch of them. I don't know.
Update on the athletes. If you want to find them, they're here at 225. Just for your future, I guess. I don't know.
So, I hear that the track and field teams are competing in the Dome this weekend. Isn't that right, Levi?
Absolutely, and in fact we have a story about a student who is practically vaulting himself into the USD record books. We have that coming next on Sports.
1926.
Hey Madeline, why don't you explain what improv is?
Well, improv is just kind of thinking on your feet and creating a scene out of nothing. Our first goal is we accept anyone and everyone.
Our second goal is that we focus on improvement.
And also our third goal is we just want to bring comedy back to campus.
We like making people laugh. And that's one of the reasons why we think you should come to Improv Club, for laughs.
The Coyote Twin Theaters in downtown Vermilion, providing entertainment Tuesdays through Sundays. A proud supporter of USD student media.
This is Coyote News.
Hello, I'm Levi Goots. Tonight on Coyote Sports, we take a look at a freshman who's already pole vaulting his way into the record books. And the swim team finishes off their dual meet season at home. But first, the headlines with Lauren Solek. Lauren?
The Atlanta Falcons are under investigation after a string of emails from the Falcons' head trainer and owner discussing the franchise's concern about its excessive dependence on painkillers to treat players. A class action lawsuit filed by more than 1,800 former NFL players claiming they were encouraged by training staff to misuse painkillers. An outside agency found that the team spent $81,000 on prescription painkillers in 2009. The case is being heard in a Northern California U.S. District Court. It's National Signing Day for NCAA football. The Coyotes have already signed 30 players to this year's class. A social will be held tonight at 5:30 at Vernide Acura in Sioux Falls, where head coach Bob Nielsen will introduce the new class. USD freshman pole vaulter Chris Nelson and senior thrower Danielle Waldner have been named the Summit League Indoor Track and Field Athletes of the Week. This is Nelson's third consecutive weekly honor. Nelson leads the Summit League by 8 inches in the pole vault. This is Waldner's first Career Athlete of the Week award. Waldner won the shot put at the Jack Johnson Classic in Minneapolis. And those are your headlines.
The USD track and field indoor season is underway. Coyote News' Michaela Feldman sat down with one freshman pole vaulter who says he's surprised by his most recent award.
It's important to stay humble. That's what Chris Nilsson, a Kansas City, Missouri native, says.
Nilsson, a freshman pole vaulter at USD, was the #1 recruit in the nation coming to college. During his senior year of high school, Nilsson jumped 18.4, breaking the American high school record.
It was kind of one of those experiences where I had to choose one road or the other, going with egotistical or staying humble. So being able to hold my own with the coaches who were trying to get with me all the time made it a lot easier on me for the recruiting process.
Now, Nilsson has broken the USD record for the second straight week.
Nilsson's coach says it's all about the small things that make a big difference during the jump.
Derek Miles is the pole vaulting coach at USD. He says they started looking at Nilsson during his junior year of high school.
We have a very family-oriented, very successful, highly motivated group of pole vaulters. And I think we were fortunate enough to have someone like Chris who is looking for something that we are. And I think that's when you kind of match up.
Nilsson says he ultimately chose USD because of Miles.
He has a really good knowledge of the vault, and instead of just treating your athlete like their points at conference or at nationals, he treats you like an actual person, and he cares about your well-being rather than just success in the program.
Miles says Nilsson has been very successful in making small changes very quickly, and he's just starting to utilize the tools that he has for pole vault.
Confidence is such a big part of it. If you're running in there hard and you're attacking it and you really believe in what you can do, you just really kind of expand what you're capable of doing.
Nilsson says for now, he's focused on being the best pole vaulter he can be.
Get faster, stronger, that'd be fantastic, jump some really good heights, but I want to improve my form, go to some big competitions, and just do my best and represent the Yotes to the best of my ability.
For the Sports Report, I'm Michaela Feldman.
The men and women's track and field teams are home this weekend for the USD Alumni Meet. The USD swimming and diving teams are only a few weeks away from the Summit League Conference Meet. Coyote News' Andy Hartman is live in the muck with the member of the women's team to talk about the season so far. Andy?
Thanks, Levi. The swimming and diving season is wrapping up, but they still have the Minnesota Challenge this weekend and the Summit League Championship in a couple of weeks. I'm joined today by senior captain Ali Fout. Thanks for joining us. So you guys have two big matches coming up, two big meets. How have you been preparing for it?
Well, taper season is the best time for a swimmer, so we've been sleeping in a lot. We decrease our volume and our intensity in the pool, and we do a lot more focused on power.
All right. And what goals did you have set for this season that you've accomplished or have yet to accomplish?
Well, we'd really like to get third or better again this year. Last year, we just edged out IUPUI by 1 point, so that'd be really cool if we could do that again, and maybe even try and beat SDSU would be awesome.
Now, this is your last year. Is there any special marks you want to leave on the team before you leave?
Honestly, for me, I just want to enjoy my last few weeks with my teammates and just end with, I'll be happy with anything as long as I'm with my teammates. So
Thanks, Allie.
Thanks.
The Summit League Championship starts February 15th in Indianapolis. Live from the muck, I'm Andy Hartman.
Thanks, Andy. The track and field team competed at the Jack Johnson Classic this weekend. Freshman pole vaulter Chris Nilsson cleared 18 feet 2.5 inches. It was a nation-leading height as it would have won the NCAA tournament title last year. The Yotes swept the pole vault event with Nick Johnson and Ethan Bray finishing second and third, respectively. Senior thrower Danielle Waldner set a new school record in the shot put. Other winners included freshman Samara Spencer in the triple jump, Amber Eichhorn in the 5,000-meter run, Shanice Canigan in the pentathlon, and Emily Brigham in the pole vault. The Coyotes will be in the Dome on Saturday for their home opener. Western Illinois' offense was too much for the women's basketball team on Saturday as the Leathernecks prevailed 86-78. The loss snapped the Coyotes' 24-game home winning streak. The Yotes are now 7-2 in Summit League play. Sophomore Allison Arns scored 27 points. J.C. Bradley had 13, and Kate Liveringhouse also scored in the double digits with 11 points. The women are in Denver tonight. Tip-off is at 8. The men's basketball team took down Denver 88-83 at home on Saturday. Matt Mooney had a game-high 27 points, while Tyler Flack recorded 19. The Coyotes now have sole possession over second place in the Summit League as they move to 6-3 in league play. The men take on Omaha tonight at 7. The women's swimming and diving team competed against Omaha in their last home meet this season over the weekend. The Yotes came up short against the Mavericks by 17 points. Senior diver Grayson Herding took home both the 1 and 3 meter dive titles. Herding has also been named Diver of the Week for the 6th time this season. The women earned first place in the 200 meter medley relay with a time of 2:01.49. The Coyotes swept the 100 and 200 meter backstrokes. Individual titles went to Sabrina Sabrianu, Teresa Godlewski, Sam Shutt, and Cassidy Cornell. Both the men and women will compete at the Minnesota Challenge this weekend. That's a look at sports. Coming up after the break, we ask students what shows they're watching on Netflix. We have their answers next.
Fostering is when you take in an animal into your home and you take care of them until we can find them a permanent forever home.
If you can find it in your heart to do it, it's rewarding.
We do all the vetting, the neutering, the spaying, the medications.
The Humane Society has lots and lots of great dogs and cats that can pull at your heartstrings and make you realize you got a little more to give.
This is Coyote News.
In this week's Out and About, we asked students what shows they're currently watching on Netflix. Here's what they said.
I just finished Shameless.
Black Mirror.
Grey's Anatomy.
A series of unfortunate events.
Bob's Burgers.
Shameless, mostly.
Shameless.
Shameless.
Grey's Anatomy for like the 5th time again.
I like to watch a lot of military documentaries and military movies.
Right now, I'm watching Naruto.
I'm watching American Horror Story.
It's an anime show. It's cartoons. You know, I love my cartoons. Got to get them in the morning.
I am watching every season of Shameless.
It's about some ninjas jumping through trees, fighting each other, you know.
Right now I'm watching The Office and Series of Unfortunate Events.
Series of Unfortunate Events.
Shameless.
So since the school year started, I think I've watched about 5 seasons of Scrubs.
Marvel's Luke Cage, that's really good.
So I'm going to start into maybe another show in the next few weeks after I finish the next 5 seasons.
I don't watch Netflix. I watch Hulu.
Be sure to grab the new edition of The Volant out today, featuring a story on the Vermilion Public Library loaning mobile Wi-Fi hotspots to visitors.
That's all for Coyote News. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
And be sure to listen for KYOT and KAOR daily updates throughout the week.
Thank you and have a good night.